Snell gets his 20th win on the year. That paces all major league pitchers.
That's number 200 on the season.
A two-time Cy Young winner with a cannon for an arm. A two-time ERA leader who's just coming off the back of a no-hitter last season. One of the best pitchers of this generation who made huge money with the Giants. There are stretches where Blake Snell looks like one of the greatest pitchers the MLB has ever seen. But just how good is one of the top free agents currently? The Yak fam just had to dive in. As you might expect from an MLB superstar, Blake Snell comes from a baseball-loving family. In fact, his father Dave was a former professional pitcher himself. Dave Snell would be drafted by the San Francisco Giants in the 1982 MLB draft, but he went on to spend his entire career in the minor leagues. After Dave retired from playing, he became a youth basketball coach in Washington. It was where he met Jane, who became his wife and the father to Blake Snell. This is why Blake was born in Seattle all the way back in December of 1992. Blake's father would play a huge part in his baseball career growing up. He would attend Shorewood High School in Shoreline, Washington. This was the same school that produced another MLB pitcher, Riley O'Brien. The school is far from a baseball-producing haven, having never won a state championship in the sport in the almost 50 years the school's been open. But Blake Snell was good enough to be a superstar in high school while also playing basketball. Snell quickly became a star with the baseball team, as you might expect. He was striking out batters from a very early age, including a 9-0 win-loss record in his senior season. The stats are pretty ridiculous from his time in high school, with Snell recording 128 strikeouts in the 63 innings that he pitched in high school. At this time, he certainly took advantage of the fact that his father was a brilliant baseball coach who even owned a training facility. At the Showcase Sports facility, Snell learned how to pitch successfully as a left-hander. He spent countless nights in the cages or in the weight room with one pretty clear goal. Blake always wanted to eclipse the baseball achievements of his father and get to the major leagues. A young Blake Snell would spend hours and hours in the facility, contributing every late night to his goal. In high school, you could already see all of that time paying off. Heading into the 2011 MLB draft, Snell was seen as a solid option for the future, with plenty of teams interested in his potential. There was no doubt at the time that Blake Snell needed plenty of minor league experience to develop. He was just 19 years old and needed a bit of fine-tuning before he could be promoted to the major leagues. But there was enough talent for Snell to eventually go 52nd overall to the Tampa Bay Rays. The 2011 MLB draft was absolutely loaded with top pitchers. UCLA duo Garrett Cole and Trevor Bauer went in the top 3 picks, while Snell wasn't even the first left-handed pitcher to be taken in the supplemental first round. The Red Sox and the Diamondbacks certainly regret passing over Blake Snell now. But that was not always the case for the kid who took quite a few years to get to the big leagues. The Rays sent him straight to the minor leagues, playing his first professional season with the Gulf Coast Rays. He joined one of the struggling teams in the minor leagues, with the Rays having a losing record in 2011 and 2012. He would play the 2012 season with the Princeton Rays, having an impressive 5-1 record along with a 2.09 ERA. But he would struggle with the Bowling Green Hot Rods a season later, going 4-9 as a starter with a 4.27 ERA. This kind of fluctuation is pretty normal for a minor league pitcher still in his early 20s. At this time, Snell still didn't know whether his dream of making it to the major leagues would ever come true. He got into a routine with his baseball, working his way up through the ranks and then heading back to Seattle during the offseason. Despite signing for almost $700,000 when he was drafted by the Rays, Snell would spend his offseason working at Elliott Bay Marina. He wasn't doing the fancy jobs either, essentially spending his offseason cleaning boats and docks, making sure they were all tied down and everything was in order. This wasn't the sort of job that Snell ever enjoyed. Picking up trash over the winter is not exactly how baseball's biggest stars spend their offseason. It was also a lot of physical labor for a guy who would spend the other 8 months of the year throwing fastballs. But it wasn't the physical side of the job that Snell liked. It gave him a reason to get up, a purpose during the offseason that helped him stay focused when he wasn't in season. Even in the minor leagues, most of his teammates spent the offseason training or relaxing, trying to get better for next year. But Snell had a slightly different ethos, and it's certainly paid off since then. That drive kept Blake Snell going through a very difficult time in the minor leagues. He was moving every single year, never staying with the same team for very long while trying to work his way to the majors. But success finally came knocking for the left-handed pitcher around 2014. Coming off the back of a terrible season, Snell rebounded with Bowling Green before a promotion to the Charlotte Stone Crabs. There, Snell made history by throwing a no-hitter at Charlotte Sports Park. Against a good Daytona team, Snell did not allow a single hit in his over 5 innings at the mound. Not only was this a huge accomplishment for Snell himself, but it was also the first time that any Stone Crabs pitcher had thrown a no-hitter in the history of the franchise. He was named Rays Minor League Pitcher of the Year, and it led to him being promoted to the Durham Bulls the following season. This was the clearest sign that Snell was on the verge of the promotion to the Tampa Bay Rays squad that he was hoping for. Having begun the 2016 season with the Bulls, the Rays really threw him in the deep end on debut. As if making your MLB debut isn't nerve-wracking enough, the Rays decided to promote Snell so that he would make that debut at Yankee Stadium, facing off against a loaded batting lineup featuring Alex Rodriguez, Carlos Beltran, and Brett Gardner. There aren't many more difficult ways to make your debut. He began with a nervy start, with a wild pitch in the first allowing Beltran to score the first run of the game. But he came back with 6 strikeouts, which ended up being a team high as the Rays would eventually fall short thanks to a Brett Gardner solo home run at the bottom of the 9th. But the Rays had themselves an exciting young pitcher who already showed he could bounce back from some early adversity. His scouting profile showed off Snell's all-around arsenal, which helped him to a good rookie season with the Rays. However, he pitched pretty poorly in his second season with the Rays, causing him to be sent to the minor leagues again. He was 0-6 when he got sent to AAA Durham before being able to turn it around in the second half of the season and once again look like a major league pitcher. If Snell was upset about his terrible 2017 season, he certainly moved on a year later with what everyone now considers Snell's breakout year. He became the Rays starter and quickly turned into one of the best pitchers in the American League. In fact, he was even leading the American League in ERA for the majority of the 2018 season. He even tied the AL record by striking out the first 7 batters he faced against the Mariners in June. Snell had an impressive 12-5 record with 134 strikeouts at the time that the All-Star lineups were announced, which is why it was shocking that he wasn't included. He was by far the biggest snub of the rosters when it was announced, but that all changed thanks to an injury to Corey Kluber. Snell finished the season as the best pitcher in the majors, leading the league in wins, adjusted ERA, and batting average against. It was an all-time campaign from Snell, just a year after being sent back to the minors for a stint. It led to Snell winning his first Cy Young Award and being rewarded with a bumper new contract with the Rays. But he did not follow that up with a similarly impressive season, suffering multiple injuries in 2019. In 2020, Snell got his first proper experience of playoff baseball. He had a mixed time in the playoffs, but still did enough to send the Rays to the World Series for the first time in 12 years. Snell had a brilliant Game 2 of the series, handing the Rays an important victory to put them back in the series. But the Rays continued to be behind, with Snell starting Game 6. He had a brilliant first 5 innings before being controversially pulled in the 6th inning for Nick Anderson. It turned out to be a terrible move, as the Dodgers scored 3 times after Snell was pulled and ended the series for the Rays. Snell himself said he was lost after the decision, feeling like that decision handed the series to the Dodgers. It would end up being the last time that Snell suited up for the Rays, as he was traded to the San Diego Padres in December. It was a move that did not work out early for Snell, despite coming off the back of a World Series appearance. His time in San Diego has really turned around, with Snell having a brilliant 2023 season. He had an ERA of 2.25 and was this time voted to the All-MLB First Team for the very first time in his career. It was another moment where Snell looked like the best pitcher in all of baseball, despite 2 pretty poor years with the Padres preceding 2023. Snell won his second Cy Young Award, this time from the National League. It was truly an absurd season, which did come under some criticism because he also led the league in walks. Leading the majors in ERA and walks is something no one had done in over a century. Despite earning his second Cy Young Award, Snell still became a free agent at the end of 2023. He went months without being signed by any team in the league. He eventually landed with the Giants in March, signing a massive 2-year, $62 million contract. His time with the Giants has certainly been productive despite a couple of stints on the injury list. In July, Snell struck out 15 batters across 6 innings against the Rockies, following that up a week later with a no-hitter against the Reds. For a very long time, Snell has shown off his ability to dominate against batters, but he never gets the chance to finish out games. But on a no-hitter against the Reds, Snell finally got that shot and threw the very first no-hitter of his entire career. It was a phenomenal performance to watch, with Snell looking completely unstoppable. Before his no-hitter, Blake Snell had never even thrown a single pitch in the 9th inning. It was the perfect complete game, where Snell actually got to finish off the work that he started. Despite this brilliant performance, Snell is now one of the top free agents in the MLB. I am sure there'll be plenty of teams interested, and who knows where he'll land. However, I'm sure teams will be paying a pretty penny for his services. Blake Snell might be one of the most difficult pitchers to judge in the majors. He's got to be one of the most streaky players in baseball, considering there are long stretches of multiple seasons where Snell looks like one of the best pitchers in baseball. But then there are also plenty of games where Snell throws wild pitches and struggles for strikeouts. He has a very modern approach to the game. Snell is a strikeout artist who opens the lineup with an aggressive mix of pitches, but he also tends to walk more batters than the league average pitcher, even leading the league in walks in the past. It means he doesn't really compare to many of the top pitchers in the league. There are also a few pitchers who have such a complete arsenal of pitches while on the mound, but there's still been plenty of concerns around Snell's game over the years. Injury problems have caused him a considerable number of starts, with the fact that it is multiple different injuries across his career not being a great sign as Snell gets into his 30s. Snell's unpredictable career trajectory and standout moments on the field have also impacted his financial landscape. His ability to deliver high strikeout games and clutch performances has made him a valuable asset, not just on the field, but also in the world of sports endorsements and contract negotiations. His signing with the Giants, for instance, reflects not only his value as a player, but also his marketability and appeal to sponsors looking for a high-profile athlete to represent their brands. His fluctuating performance levels, however, pose a unique challenge in terms of long-term financial planning and securing high-value endorsement deals. While his peak moments, like the no-hitter and Cy Young winning seasons, attract lucrative offers, his inconsistency could potentially deter brands seeking a stable ambassador. This delicate balance between performance and perception is a critical aspect of modern sports analytics and financial investments in professional athletes. The free agent pitcher does still have a big contract ahead of him. With over 1,300 strikeouts and a positive win-loss record, there's a very good chance that Blake Snell could end up in the Hall of Fame one day. The two-time Cy Young winner has surely got to have another World Series run in his career. Things are certainly still looking up for Blake Snell, who has the eyes of the baseball world on him after achieving the ultimate feat for a pitcher in the major leagues. At the end of his career, we will almost certainly look back at one of the best pitchers in MLB history. The Yak fam has narrowed down some teams that we think he'll go to. Let's start with the Giants. Now, it's no secret that Oracle Park isn't exactly a hitter's paradise. Big-time free agent hitters usually shy away from playing there, so the Giants have leaned toward building their roster around elite pitching talent. Last spring, Snell landed with the Giants and rounded into form, going an incredible 10-2 with a 1.35 ERA in his last 16 starts. That success, combined with the familiarity he has with the organization, makes the Giants a top contender even though he already opted out. Bringing Snell back could give the Giants a proven ace and a reliable anchor to their rotation. Next up, we have the recent world champion Los Angeles Dodgers. And let's be real, they got so many options. Thanks to Shohei Ohtani's contract with deferred payments, the Dodgers have the budget flexibility to chase top-tier free agents this offseason. The Dodgers' rotation could use a boost, especially with injury concerns surrounding Tyler Glasnow and Ohtani's rehab from Tommy John surgery. Plus, both Walker Buehler and Jack Flaherty are question marks for 2025. Adding a proven veteran like Snell would be huge for the Dodgers' pitching depth and their 2025 playoff aspirations. And don't forget, he'd fit right into the LA spotlight. The Dodgers are definitely not shy in spending money for star players. Now, let's talk about the New York Mets, a team that's always looking to make big moves in free agency. After coming up short last season, they're in desperate need of pitching, especially with Luis Severino, Sean Manaea, and Jose Quintana entering free agency. And with Steve Cohen at the helm, the Mets aren't afraid to spend. Snell could bring a lot of upside to the Mets rotation, but he's also seen as a bit of a boom or bust guy, which may make the Mets cautious. They're also rumored to be interested in Corbin Burnes for his consistency, so it'll be interesting to see if they want to roll the dice on Snell's potential. If they can land Snell and Soto, they'll def be a World Series contender. Fourth on our list is the San Diego Padres, who have a special history with Snell. He spent 3 solid seasons there after being traded from Tampa Bay, and even snagged a Cy Young Award in his final year with a 3.15 ERA. But with Joe Musgrove out for 2025 due to Tommy John surgery, the Padres might need a higher-tier starter. The real question here is whether the Padres are willing to commit to a long-term deal for Snell. They avoided long contracts last winter, but given their current pitching needs, this could be the perfect opportunity for a reunion. And finally, we have the Los Angeles Angels, who've already made some moves this offseason. They traded for Jorge Soler and added Kyle Hendricks and Travis d'Arnaud, but it's fair to say they still have plenty of room to improve. And despite the smaller deals, they've been eyeing Snell since last winter, so they can't be ruled out. The Angels haven't had the best of luck on the pitching side over the years, but a two-time Cy Young winner could be exactly what they need to make a turnaround. It's a high-stakes choice for a team that's trying to break its streak of disappointing seasons as they're pushing for more fans in the stands. Wherever Snell lands, I'm confident he'll get paid a ton of money. But what do you think of Blake Snell? Put your thoughts in the comments down below. And while you're there, hit the like button and subscribe. Thanks for watching and for making us part of your day.